So I invite you just to become comfortable in your seat. And just allow your body to become still. Taking in a deep breath. And letting go. And feeling the movement of the cleansing breath as you breathe in. And you breathe out. And continuing to settle in. I invite you to close your outer eyes or to focus on some point in the room. Just allowing yourself to rest and be still. And taking one last deep breath. And letting go. And we say, thank you. Thank you, sweet Spirit, for this day, for this time, to be open and receptive to new thoughts, to allow Spirit to move in and through us, clearing and cleansing, healing our mind, our body, and connecting us with Spirit. Allowing that Spirit to renew, regenerate right now. Feeling the energy rising up through your body. And like a fountain flowing from the top of the head, connecting with that oneness that is all around us, that infinite energy that is alive and awake, that one presence, the one power, the source of all. Feeling energy flowing as the blood flows through the body. Opening the heart and the mind to the oneness and the silence. And as we take a breath, realizing that we are all connected, and that energy that rises through us rises through each other. We are awakened to the truth which we call God, that one power, one presence. And we live in gratitude for the awakening, for that energetic presence flowing in and through each of us, connecting us as one. And so it is. Amen.
in me arise and dispel all the darkness. God, in me arise with your gentleness and grace. Love in me pour out your blessing and healing. Christ in me arise, and I shall rise with you. Be now my vision, open my eyes, showing me all that I must see. Inward to the kingdom, you are the way. Arise in me, and I shall rise with you. Christ in me arise and dispel all the darkness. God in me arise with your gentleness and grace. Love in me pour out all the blessing and healing. Christ in me arise, and I shall rise with you. Be now my footsteps, leading the way, taking me where I must go. Inward to the kingdom, you are the way. Arise in me, and I shall rise with you. Christ in me arise and dispel all the darkness. God in me arise with your gentleness and grace. Love in me pour out your blessing and healing. Christ in me arise, and I shall rise with you. You know my heart, and you know my ways. You who formed me in my mother's womb. I live and move in you. My whole being thrives in you. Christ in me arise. God in me arise. Love in me arise, and I shall rise with you.
That was it. That's what we're going to talk about today. Perfect song, Spirits Rising. Several of us have been taking a journey together, interpreting the Hebrew Bible, which is really about our human consciousness. Each of us is alive in the Bible. Whether we recognize ourselves or not, in humanity itself, we are all there, individually and collectively. And so we move from that, what we call the Adam state of consciousness, which is our sense consciousness. We're all born into this world, and we learn to navigate through our five senses. And then at some point, we realize that there's something more, and we start to seek. And in that seeking of the truth, we become awake and aware to what we call the Christ consciousness, which is represented by Jesus in the New Testament. So we move from the Old Testament of Adam, the sense consciousness, that where we're living in this materialistic world and survival mode into an awakening through Jesus and that Christ consciousness, which rises up from us, through us, into the spiritual realm of oneness. We tend to, I'll speak for myself, I tended to live in the darkness a lot at different points in my life. And I realized that no matter where I'm at, the light is always there. I just have to turn the switch on. I have to shift my conscious thinking into that which propels me to do the things that I'm here to do. So from the darkness, which metaphysically speaking is ignorance, into the light, which metaphysically speaking is wisdom. So what we're doing when we're moving from the darkness into the light is moving from ignorance, from that sense consciousness, into that light, that wisdom of understanding of world oneness, individually and collectively. When you start to do this, it creates a lot of conflict within. And then it creates a lot of conflict around us. And if you look around our world, we see conflict everywhere. How many of y'all go through conflict on a daily basis within yourself? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That turmoil that we're always moving through. It's that root chakra. How many of you guys are familiar with the 7 chakras? Or the 7 dimensions? Or how else can we say it? The 7 chakras are aligned with the 7 dimensions of life. The 7 steps of consciousness. So we all live from that root chakra, which is survival mode. That's how we're born into this world, is to survive. And when we shift our consciousness up, we begin to open to a more harmony in life. Just a little bit. We come into balance, just a little bit. And we start to live from that sacral chakra. And we begin to transform and heal from that selfish consciousness of survival. And then we move into that intuitive space. And we don't know how to use it very well. How many of you guys follow your intuition all the time when it's sitting right here? You know, you get that gut feeling that you need to do something, but you choose not to do it. Anybody ever have that happen to them? Yeah. Look at what you're being guided to do and do it. It's scary, I know. But it begins to shift you upward to living from your heart, in that heart chakra. And when you start living from your heart, that's when you're really coming in balance, when you're living right here. Because from here up is all the spiritual consciousness. And from here down is all of our world consciousness. Right? So when we meet at the heart and we start living from here and we start living in love and light and that love and wisdom, and we're being guided by that inner self to make our choices, our worlds change, our lives change. I grew up in this world, a little girl, born into a different thought pattern than most, which created a lot of conflict. When you grow up in unity as a child in the 60s and 70s, you are different, and there is no way around it. And so you think differently and you observe what everybody else is doing. And it didn't make me better, it just made me different. It made me think different. And so I hid from the world. And I did it consciously for that survival. So that people didn't question who I was or what I was and what my intent was. I mean, normal kids didn't sit around and meditate, right? Their families didn't sit together every night and have quiet time. It wasn't what went on in other people's houses. It is what went on in mine from as long as I can remember. And then when I chose to be baptized, there was a shift. There was an energetic shift within me. And I was never the same again. And that was at age 8. And I recognized that there is a spirit that is alive and around us, which most people never ever get to see. Because we're living from that point of survival. And until we start to live from this point of love, you will never ever see or feel that vibration running through the body. How many feel the vibration when you're meditating? How many see it when you're meditating? You allow yourself to be open and receptive to whatever comes without fear. That's hard. How many live in fear? Yeah. Living in that space of fear consciousness is what keeps us trapped in this world. It's what keeps the conflict flowing constantly, every day, in and out. Wherever we go, whatever we do, whatever community we're a part of will be in conflict as long as we live in fear. It's breaking loose from those shackles and allowing ourselves to really be free and to feel that vibrational of spirit moving through. It's just truly amazing. What happens when you start living from a point of vibration and spiritual consciousness is that you can transform yourself and you can heal whatever it is in you that needs to be healed. Whether it's emotional, whether it's physical, or whether it's just an unknowing that's trapped in fear. You can begin to radiate at a different vibrational rate and acknowledge that new thought which then transforms into a new cell, a new organ, a new system, whatever it is that you're healing. And I know this to be true because I lived in the world of chaos in corporate America and almost died from it. And when I realized what I was doing and I stopped and went back to my spiritual roots, into the daily prayer meditation, into my own healing work, into changing the patterns that I'd created in my mind, then I was able to shift that energy and to be standing here today instead of in the ground, in a box. Because that's where I was, in the ground, in a box, 17 years ago. And as I went through all this transformation, I realized that it's a transformation of humanity. We're either going to survive it, and we're going to be joyful and lead a different pattern of life through love, or we're all going to end up in a box without a world, because it may explode instead of implode like mine tried to do. And I see it in families every day. I see the fear. I see the confusion. I see the things that create the hatred and the scarcity and the lack. And it's really just our thinking. And it's our thinking without a foundation of prayer, without a connection with Spirit. I see it in communities. As communities shift and try to change, they get locked down in fear. And when you're locked down in fear, there's no hope. You got to let go. You got to open up individually, like a flower that's going to blossom. And you got to just invite Spirit to live through you. And I say invite because if you don't ask, it's not going to happen. Because if you don't ask, you're going to stay locked in fear. You get to choose. You get to choose your life. You get to choose your thoughts. You get to choose your patterns, whatever they are. We all do. Because I was locked in that fear. And I chose a different way. I chose to go back to that faith, to that daily prayer, that daily meditation, to living in different thought patterns. And I was allowed to blossom and bloom. Life allows you to make whatever choice it is that you want to make. Life gives us the opportunities to be whatever we want to be. There are unlimited possibilities in the universe. You have a blank canvas with your life. What is it that you want to manifest? It's totally up to you. Wherever you're at in your life, don't stop. Create whatever it is that you want right now. And when it changes and you don't want it anymore, create something new. Allow yourself to be filled with joy. Allow yourself to feel the energy to move forward, to be the best that you can be, and that only you can be. Right here, right now, and every day that you sit on this planet. It's up to you. You get to decide. Nobody can decide for you. Transformation is the Spirit awakening. And as we rise up in these various dimensions, as we heal ourselves, we heal the world. Because we connect with that universal oneness that is all of us. We're not separate. We think we are, but we're not. We are all connected. We have that opportunity to live, to grow, to transform ourselves from that red, heavy energy of conflict and confusion into a golden light, aware and vibrating as awakened spirits living in love as love in each and every moment. How many of you guys are familiar with spiritual dynamics? Yeah. A few of you, good. So it's the same process that I'm talking about. As you rise up, you're down here on this lower level, this sense consciousness, which creates a lot of conflict, and it's a red in color. And as you move up, and that's where our root chakra is at also, and as you move up into some harmony. And every time you move up and you rise in consciousness, you're going to slide back down, right? And we do this individually, and we do it collectively as a race consciousness. And right now, we've been on a rise until the last couple years, and now we're on the backslide. We're falling back down in consciousness. And the reason why I'm talking about this today is because it's up to the seekers to shift the consciousness back up. It's a great responsibility, but I invite you all to begin to do whatever it is you're here to do. We all have different jobs. We all have different purposes. Whatever it is that is yours to do, please do it, because we're going to pull the rest of humanity up with us as we rise. And we will fall back down, and we will rise again. And that's spiritual dynamics, when we're moving from that lower sense level all the way up to oneness. It's your choice. What is it you're here to do? I invite you to do it, and to do it today. Love, like death, changes everything. And you get to choose. And so it is. Amen.
From the day we arrived on the planet and blinking stepped into the sun, there's more to see than can ever be seen, more to do than can ever be done. There's far too much to take in here, more to find than can ever be found. But the sun rolling high through the sapphire sky keeps great and small on the endless round. It's a circle of life, and it moves us all through despair and hope, through faith and love, till we find our place on the path unwinding in the circle of life. Some of us fall by the wayside, and some of us soar to the stars, and some of us sail through our troubles, and some have to live with the scars. Some say eat or be eaten, some say live and let live, but all are agreed as we join the stampede, you should never take more than you give. In the circle of life, it's the wheel of fortune, it's a leap of faith and a band of hope, till we find our place on the path unwinding in the circle of life. It's the circle circle of life.
Protection. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over. And wherever we are, God is and all is well. Do you have the music for the next song? Great. Let's join in for the peace song.